Hi everyone, my name is Thilo, Senior Consultant for Program Management at Murzilli Consulting, and today we are at the Commercial UAV Expo in Las Vegas 2024, and with me I have Kristofer, CEO from Xer,
Hi.
Swiss-based company. Glad to have you.
Thanks so much.
As our background is also Switzerland, it's always nice to meet people from the same environment, from the same area. Kristofer, we are keen to learn about Xer. What is your background? What are you doing? What is your business model? So if you could introduce us in the community and what are you doing, that would be amazing.
Yeah, thanks for that introduction. We're, as you say, a Swiss company. We're based in Xer. We are a manufacturer of drones, particular multi-copter drones with a hybrid electric drive system, meaning we can fly for 2.5 hours with 3 kilo. So it means we can, one of the core things that we focus on is beyond visual line of sight missions for our customers. So our customers do power line inspection, wind turbine inspection offshore. It will be gas emission monitoring, those kind of things that are linear inspection or something that needs a long time airborne or heavy type of sensor. So that's the typical applications. So we sell currently globally, but we have already drones flying in Australia, Southeast Asia, North America, and Europe.
Nice, that's impressive. For how long does Xer exist? Like, when did you start the company?
Many different ways of looking at that. But in reality, we started developing the hybrid electric system 7 years ago.
Okay.
And we've been on the market for 1.5 years. So 5 years in the development. And we actually came to Switzerland from Sweden 1.5 years ago. So basically moved the entire team or know-how to Switzerland and actually shut down the operations in Sweden.
Oh, that's an interesting point. So what was the key after all that time in the development already in Sweden to then decide for going to Switzerland? Like, of course, Switzerland stands for high quality and reliability, but also comes with a price tag compared to other areas around the world. So what was the decision to move to Switzerland and what is the benefit being in Switzerland?
Yeah, it was not an easy decision, and actually it was a very long decision, but ultimately we went from an entrepreneurial idea that was validated to industrialization, and that's two completely different phases of a company. So it was a natural break to figure out what do we do next and where do we do it. And I was living in Switzerland at the time, so either I moved back to Sweden and the other aspect of it was, where do you find people that are competent enough to build up this? You need people with manned aviation experience, and that does exist in Sweden, but not in the southern part where it was located. So it was quite natural to make the decision to move all the operations over to Switzerland. So we have hired an entirely new team, and almost all come from manned aviation. So we have people from Copter, the Swiss helicopter manufacturer was sold to Leonardo, Airbus, Safran, from Xer Technologies, Pilatus aircraft, and also some unmanned aviation like UMS Geldar and Swiss drones and so on. So we have a team of very, very skilled people that understand aviation. I am not a big fan of hobby enthusiasts that try to become experts. I prefer having experts from the beginning who think in terms of system safety, system security, and have an understanding what regulatory means in this space. So that's been an incredibly good decision because we've been able to advance with a very high quality very quickly.
Okay, that's interesting. I mean, yeah, as the typical thinking about Switzerland, like standing for high quality is the thing ultimately, but originally and what is the main benefit for you is the knowledge of the people, the expert level that you can get into your company that then ensures that the quality is met that you need to offer your product to the market and ensure that the clients are happy with what you deliver to them.
Yeah, I think that's it. There's a good community in Switzerland. I like the spirit there is in Switzerland. You know, it's not that competitive. It's actually pretty friendly. But I also have to say the Swiss market is a bit fragmented. I would hope that we could collaborate a little bit more. And I see a need for that, but I see that coming as well. But again, I feel very it's like a fragmented but pretty good family nevertheless. So yeah, I have only good things to say about it. There's always, in each country has pros and cons. So but Switzerland in general is, as you say, it's a high level, high quality. Prices are maybe higher, but on the other hand, corporate-wise, it's not too bad. There's a lot of flexibility, and it's easy to bring people with skills to Switzerland as well. So we've had difficulties finding people for some positions, and it's an attractive place to get people to come to.
Very good. Yeah. Thank you for sharing this. That's definitely interesting news, and that is the foundation of the industry, and especially I think aviation, where you have to meet safety standards and really ensure that the technology is working. The skill set of the personnel that you have in the company is the enabler for that, and that's a good takeaway for Switzerland as a location to build such a business, and now enables you to grow out of Switzerland and attract customers worldwide to use your solution. And you said 4.5, 5 years development, and now 1.5 years on the market and already available around the world.
Yeah,
that is impressive. How did you make it?
It's extremely quick.
Yeah,
it's actually exceptionally quick. Not only that, because we are very, very specific in verticalization. So it's not about building a drone. I tell my team members that nobody cares about the drone, but people care about the data that you collect with a drone. And I think that people really need to appreciate that. There's only two people that care, or people that care about the drone. It's the pilot and it's the person paying for the drone. But nobody else cares about it. So it's really that it does its job of carrying the sensor, of integrating the software to make sure you have the reliable data. So verticalization is something we spend a lot of time on, making sure that I cannot sell a drone and hope someone, buys it and is done. We have to provide the whole package. We even have to bring in the drone service provider to make sure that the customer who wants to inspect a dam or whatever can just buy the package and the service and everything is working, rather than saying, oh, where do I buy the drone? Which payload I need to do? Who should do it for me? And so on. And that's the level of maturity that this market is not really reached yet. Because it used to be you buy a DJI drone and the pilot can do it. But if you want to do something on an ROI level, which is more complex and with much better savings, it gets a lot more involved. And we try to put everything together, and I think we've been pretty good at that. So we've integrated 15 different payload to date. We're really quick. We can change payload on the drone within a minute. We add software to it where needed, in certain niches, and identified really high quality sensors that can be used.
And I think that's also an interesting point from my personal experience and what we learned from the industry and the people that we're talking with. Combining aviation mindset, but flexibility in providing the solution that the customer needs to get the job done. Because in the end, you sell a service, a solution for somebody who has a problem, who wants to have a cheaper solution, but ensuring this flexibility in your product and adapting it quickly is a challenge.
We're looking at it as our drone is the enabler, but it's only the enabler. So you have to really make sure you have a good alliance, strong partners, high quality partners to work with. But it's a good enabler. In particular, in our case, we have a really unique concept. It has capabilities that very few others have, in combination with everything else that comes with it. So we're quite well positioned in that. But it ultimately boils down to the vertical, to make sure that you put it all together. And the drone just needs to work.
Yeah, absolutely.
It just needs to work. And I think we got into that level that we feel pretty comfortable with that. And now we can focus much more on the next levels of making it reproducible. So you have it for one client and then you can use it for the next and so on. So yeah, that's where we are at.
Okay, very good. So besides quality, reliability, having the foundation, then the client focus is the next thing, and then being quickly in implementing the right solution for the client. When we're talking about next steps, so now you have the foundation, you have already quite a mature customer base, you have a mature technology. What are the next steps for Xer? Xer, how do you move on from here?
Yeah, there are many things, but there's two main challenges that we face, and it's not technology. One is there's not enough competent drone service providers out there.
Okay.
So flying a DJI drone or flying a drone that can fly, a proper mission, meaning proper beyond visual line of sight, is a huge step. The regulatory aspect of it also puts a lot of pressure on us to have the right documentation and having the right approvals. So that's the challenge. And the second challenge is again the regulatory side, to make sure we comply with what is needed. And we can have very good solutions, but still it's an immature market from the regulatory point of view, I would argue. It's quite slow. There's no... everything is manual. It hasn't become automated. So there are no standards to follow, really. And it's so new often that the many regulatory bodies we talk to are just slow. And I appreciate that, but it just makes it a little bit difficult to scale quickly. The technology is there, the capabilities are there, and it's just it just takes time. And then that we see in every country. No country is easy. Some countries have the benefits over others, like Canada, Australia, because they're sparsely populated usually. Switzerland is not a good country in that respect, so it's difficult to get the beyond visual line of sight approvals, comparatively speaking, to other countries because it's simply densely populated. So our focus is therefore actually not on Switzerland from a sales point of view, and obviously the market is anyhow larger outside of a relatively small country.
Okay, that's interesting, because that would have been my connecting question. If you see specific markets, specific countries where it's easier or are faster for you to get into beyond visual line of sight operations, but you answered this already with Australia and Canada, to be more supportive or an easier environment to operate in due to its conditions on population. And yeah, I mean, these days, especially here in the US, Part 108 coming hopefully soon, bringing more guidance on beyond visual line of sight operations. This is something that the industry is looking for, and automation is the next thing to be solved to really make businesses scalable for operators, for manufacturers.
I am hopeful that we're getting to a point where I think what's going to happen, this is my prediction, I think one country is going to advance slightly faster than the others, and other regulatory bodies in other countries will closely monitor what's happening because they're talking anyhow, and nobody wants to be the first one, but nobody wants to be the last one either. So I think what will happen is once it kind of settles and the regulatory bodies feel comfortable with the frameworks being used and see that it is working, meaning that, you have a structure where it's easy to get the approval, but it doesn't cause any harm, others will follow suit quite quickly. So I'm hopeful that will happen. Like you said, Part 108. But I see that and you know that probably better than we do, because we're not that deep into the regulatory side. But for the signs I see, each country has the willingness to advance, but don't really know how to do it. And I think once someone has broken that hurdle and crossed that hurdle and solved that to advance, the other countries will follow suit quickly. That's my prediction. If we're talking 2-3 years, I don't know, but I think that will happen. And as soon as that happens, we're going to see a very quick growth. That's my prediction of what's going to happen.
Connected to that prediction, and question would be for me, do you have a feeling which country, which area could be that? Is there anything that you would like to?
That prediction.
No? Okay.
No. But I see this. No, I don't want to make that prediction. But I can say that I see that in most countries that we deal with, the desire is there, but no one is brave enough to make the decision.
Okay.
So everyone is talking about it, but no one is really following up, because it would be pretty simple to do it. And no one is brave enough to take that step.
Okay, then the other question will be, how do we influence that environment to make a country, an authority, make the first step? Is it events like this here to bring the industry together and have that conversation? Like FA is right next behind this booth, so they are here, they are ready to discuss, they're open for conversations. Like, what is the right way to approach and make this happen? Because everybody is waiting for this step to happen to really make this market scalable and generate more opportunities for everyone. Like, what can we do?
It's a good question. I haven't been in this market long enough to actually give a qualified answer. I would hope that being able to do test flights and confirming that we understand what's going on and we can do that safely, it can be kind of a template for how to scale that, and that's what they want to do. I just think that it's very restrictive in how it's done. So I don't know. I think there's coming from a manned aviation point of view, being very restricted, and not really landing in that. Unmanned aviation is fundamentally quite different. You're flying at a different altitude. The risk factors are different, and I think they are the regulatory bodies, in my opinion, should separate out a little bit better those that are really qualified, those that really pay attention, those that really care, from others that are less serious, and try to be a little bit. And I know they try to do this.
It's a challenge.
It is a challenge, right?
Yeah.
But then also be pragmatic about giving approvals. I think the key to it is be pragmatic in giving approvals and not too strict, and learn from that. Otherwise, it will advance too slowly. Because I think what they need to realize as well is there are actually, I think, yearly 30 to 50 pilots dying from doing, I think it's inspection work. I mean, if we could reduce that amount of death, that has a value. That has a value clearly, but it means someone has to make the call and be a little bit more aggressive in advancing this, because it is really slow, without being crazy, right? So it's finding that right balance. So I don't want to tell them what's right or wrong, but I would wish that they were a bit more pragmatic. Let these guys try it out. Let's not be 100% safe on all levels, but safe enough. I'm not being crazy, but safe enough.
Yeah.
And see what happens. Not in the sense that it's a risk for other air traffic or anything. Obviously not. But it doesn't have to be that super strict that I often have the feeling that it is, and then try to advance it. But I do understand that it's already happening from many, but it is very, very difficult. The hurdles are really tough. I think that is making it difficult for the industry to advance quickly enough. Because I think the technology is here.
No, I think so too. And thank you very much for that clear statement. I think that really hits a nail. We heard this here talking to the people, like enabling beyond the line of sight operations, automation, in the process, but also in the operation, is key for scalability of the industry. And for this, the framework, the environment needs to be set. And I think it's a clear statement on how to come there and what your vision would look like to get into that environment. And hopefully we see it now approaching soon. Thank you very much for taking the time. Thanks to showcasing a Swiss company or a company that moved to Switzerland, having advantages from that, and now being successful in the worldwide drone market. Thank you very much for your time, Kristofer. If you like what we are talking about, leave a like, follow our YouTube channel. We have in the video description everything about Xer and Kristofer's LinkedIn profile. So reach out and comment if you have additional comments or ideas on how we can make this market scalable finally. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Talk to you soon again.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks.